Hey everyone, Genome here, coming at you with kind of a reply video. There's been a lot of content creators, at least for Marvel Strike Force as of late, that have been kind of really complaining about the state of the game in the last few days.
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly?
And while it's almost a regular occurrence on some channels like mine, for free-to-play players, I'm going to try to put a little perspective on it. Basically, there's a lot of complaints going on right now from the people who spend money on the game. And really, those are the ones who should be listened to the most, because they're the ones that fund the game, let's be honest with you. And sometimes their complaints have the added benefit of helping out the players who aren't spending as much money or spending money at all. It's if you ever studied economics, maybe you studied some Adam Smith and maybe some invisible hand theory, whatever the case may be, it can be helpful. We had some taste of this last year, actually around this time, when there was the Fix Marvel Strike Force kind of hashtag roaming around, you know, with the whales and the krakens, and they were threatening a boycott. We're not gonna spend until these things are addressed and fixed, you know. They had a litany of things going on, almost all of which were valid, of course. But, you know, they were not going to buy, they were not going to spend money, they were going to coordinate, and they were going to starve Scopel Next, actually I think it was Fox Next back then, out, right?
Oh no!
No, it didn't happen. They dropped Cyclops, sorry I couldn't think of that for a second, and that evaporated really quick, and I think if memory served, didn't they set some sales records or something that quarter? It was ridiculous. So as much, you know, posturing as was going on with the whales and the krakens, it all availed to naught. You know, I think they did make some minor changes to the game, but you know, the list of demands was not really barely even looked at, you know.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Sorry.
So basically, the moral of the story is whale's gonna whale, right? And they may complain about it if they're a content creator or whatever, but you know, chances are whales are gonna whale, all right? And hey, they are to be commended for it. Once again, they are funding the game that players like me, who is free to play for a couple reasons I'll go into, are playing. So hey, hats off to them. And if Scopely is gonna listen to anybody, it's going to be the whales. But you know, they gotta stick with it. Now, I mentioned before, I am below minnow status. I'm less than a guppy, right? I think I've spent $20 on this game. I've been playing for, 2018? There's a couple different reasons for this. I don't want to go into all of them. The main reason doesn't really have too much to do with the game itself. It's just some things that they like to insert themselves into, which I think is pretty stupid for any company, but whatever. If they want to do that, that's on them. I just won't give them any money. But, you know, the other factor of this, before they started doing things like that, back even when Fox Next was just running the show, you know, or it was just I thought the pricing was pretty obscene, and I thought it was very laughable for a game with a limited shelf life to be dropping that much money into these characters and all that. Just seems asinine to me. Look, I'm a pragmatic guy, you know. I know this game's not gonna last forever, and so I don't see that benefit of dropping thousands of dollars into it when it won't be around forever. I mean, you know, anyway, not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but it's just kind of my take on it. I thought if the offers were at least better, that I would go for them. But really, there's so few. The only ones I've ever bought in this game, I want to say it's a total of 4 offers. Maybe even 3. Now I think about it, I think it was just 3. It was 2 of the 50 shards for $2. I think one of them was Doctor Strange. Who was the other one? I cannot remember for the life of me right now. But basically, it was 2 of those. And then I spent $10 on 100 Ghost Rider shards. It was 50 and 50 for $5. Same deal, just $3 more, right? I was really trying to get a hold of higher gold stars on Ghost Rider at the time, so it made sense. So hey, went for it. That's a good deal. I mean, you can do that and not feel bad if you don't get. I mean, at least you know what you're getting instead of buying $50 for a couple of orbs that you have no idea how many you get out of there. I like the sure thing, and microtransactions are up my alley. I have a lot of other things I gotta pay for in real life, you know, house, motorcycle, truck. I got all kinds of big boy bills. I can't be dropping thousands of dollars in this game. This isn't my job though. I mean, if you're a content creator and a whale at the same time, whatever, this is your job and this is what you do. Hey, spend. Anyway, like I said, I'll never get on anybody for spending in this game. I mean, it's needed, really. But all that aside, I want to kind of lend a little perspective on what my thoughts are on the state of the game. My thoughts are always the same on the state of this game. There's just too many bottlenecks, too many choke points to make it entirely enjoyable. It's another reason I don't spend money on this game. Because let's be honest too, if you are going to be a light or even moderate spender, it's not going to do a whole heck of a lot for you in this game. You're going to be just as frustrated with your progression and your overall roster as you would be if you paid nothing. You might get there a touch faster than some others, but really, the roster is so wide in this game, and the bottlenecks are so many that it's just impossible, right? So you have to get to that mindset. If you're finding yourself getting stressed out about it, you really need to step back and take a inventory on why you're playing this and what you're playing it for. If this becomes a job to you, if this becomes a game that you feel you have to spend money on so you don't let others down, or because you're just worried the game's going to leave you behind, it's just a slippery slope. You can't almost ever spend enough to keep up. You'd be dropping thousands and thousands in this game just to keep current, and even then you can't level everything, right? So just keep it in perspective. If you're getting stressed out from this game, take a step back, man. Look, I don't blitz that much. Like, I'll do maybe 2 or 3 rotations a day max, even when the events are going on. I refuse to log in more than that, and basically it's like punching the clock. I don't do it. It costs me a little bit of progression. That's fine. I'll get there eventually. But let's be honest, I can't afford to level those characters anyway. I'm working on like 2 teams right now, and basically Symbiotes is hitting 90% of that. I'm trying to build that team up. This team is like 8 months old now at this point. I'm still working on it. That's the state of the game. It is. But the reason, once again, I have like Kitty Pryde right here, as I want to show you, is like just because a character comes out, and even if you unlock them, there's no real point in working on some of them, especially for the free-to-play or very light spender kind of player, or even new player, right? I mean, look at her star level. She's got 2 gold stars and a 3rd red star waiting for her whenever she's farmable again. Who knows when that's going to be? So, once again, it makes very little sense to pump a lot of resources into this character. But this is going to be a little bit more for newer players at this point. I'm going to talk to you about the 6 main bottlenecks in this game as it comes to character progression, right? And this is across the board. I mean, the only thing this doesn't really completely apply to is legendaries, but they have their own, and that's a whole separate video I could talk about. So let's just get into it. So what's the first one? Let's talk about ability mats. It's all pretty easy, at least after you've been playing a while in an alliance, all the way up till about level 7. Then you need orange gear, orange mats, T4s. They're precious. I have actually quite a few saved up here. I'm probably saving them. I got most of the ones for Symbiotes done, so I'm just kind of figuring out what team I'm going to work on next, and that's where I'm going to apply them. You can't apply these things willy-nilly because it's too finite a resource. So ability mats is one of the actually easier ones, because most characters do function pretty well at level 6. But the problem is a lot of, especially newer teams, are very T4 dependent. They're building them so basically power of the team itself will not be unlocked without T4s, in which some of the other better characters in this game and teams, the teams just get better with a little more T4. They aren't actually hinging upon that T4. So ability match is the first one. It's actually one of the easier ones, though, to deal with. If you are selective and don't just hit that button for every single character, all right? 2 is, I'm going to say, gear. Gear, yeah, it is what it is. You either get it out of the store, you get it out of finishing Dark Dimension, you get it from doing campaign notes, wherever you're getting your gear from. It's a finite resource, and some pieces are made intentionally scarce. So you're either incentivized to buy them or play until your eyeballs bleed. So, okay, gear's another one. Once again, that's one that you can kind of plan around, and actually, I will say this, Scopely is very generous with a lot of gear, especially purple gear, with all the orbs and fragments that you get for that, and you can actually choose which skill traits and all that you actually want to use them on. It's great. I love these purple orbs, and I save them. Don't just open them. Have a plan with which ones you open. Am I short on mutant ones now? I'll open up 10 or so mutant ones. Open up exactly what you need. Don't just open them all in a fit of frenzy, Be mindful of your surroundings, young Padawan, right, as they would say. But
What the hell kind of an analogy is that?
I'm always going to say be very mindful of what you're working towards and have a goal, because this stuff is too scarce to do otherwise. 3, and this is actually 3 and 4, training mats is a big one. On this account, not too big a deal, because I learned a while ago to not just level everybody up, because you can. That also ties in with number 5, right? But training mats are extremely precious. On my other account, my Lobby account, I am basically unable to level my characters right now. I'm just getting just enough training mats in there to like level a character once a day or whatever, like mid-level one, like a 60s or something like that. I have like 5 million gold saved up, but I can't spend the gold because I don't have enough training mats and I don't spend money. So be mindful of this. So it's another bottleneck. So we're already up to like 3 really big ones. Oh yeah, I meant to say, or another one is gold. Gold is probably the worst one in this entire game. I'll go into this a little more detail, but just suffice it to say, this is a very symbiotic relationship between training mats and gold here. Gold is used everywhere in this game. Training mats just for leveling, but you can't have one without the other. So another huge one is gold. This one is a little more easy on you, and that's ISO. I find that Scope Lead's once again pretty fair with giving you ISO. So I have no real complaints about the ISO rewards that it gives you daily, and for just doing your standard stuff, I have plenty. As you can see, I'm kind of stockpiling them. I don't just throw them to everybody, because once again, that costs you ions too, and those are a more finite resource. I do have a lot built up, like I said, but I'm waiting. And when I have a team or a character I work on, I just throw them right to 3 stars or level 3, whatever, ISO right away, and then beyond if you want to. So that is a bottleneck, but that's more for the big player, who's always out of ions because they're constantly swapping around different ISOs and all that, and getting everybody up to 4 and 5. So. But it is a bottleneck to be aware of, all right? Okay, so I've gone over a lot of stuff there. Ability mats, gear, training mats, ISO, gold. I'll get into some more gold here in a minute. Let's talk about another one, and that is red stars. Oh my goodness, red stars. Red stars are becoming more and more a prevalent need in this game, as opposed to bragging rights and or easier wins in arena, right? We're now having... You see, before they used to suggest, 7 gold stars, level 6 ability mats, level 75, whatever. Now they are suggesting red stars. And my friends, you cannot control almost at all red stars and how they are distributed, where they go, how many you get. It's luck of the draw everywhere. It's a horrible, horrible addition to the game. It's a horrible mechanic. It's made... Almost all things in this game are made for profit, right? You got to get down to that. I understand that. This is mega greed profit, is the red stars, and they prey upon the impatient and on the huge spender, who will spend anything to have the best roster, right, and get into the newest content. But red stars are a huge hang-up. I would dare to say, on just about any character in the game, if you don't have at least 4 red stars on them, do not bother with them. If you were planning to get them into later content to try to be challenging, like in U7 and especially Doom Raid now, right? And DD4, even 4 really isn't good enough anymore, but 3 won't cut it. Because you see there's a 15% jump between 3 and 4. It's huge, huge, huge. So that's just but it's another bottleneck. So you can have a great character that you unlocked, but have you pulled big red stars on them? Now, some characters can get away with this, like kit-based characters like Minerva, Ebony Maw, a few like that, right, can get away without having huge amounts of red stars. But I will say this, you get them into higher level raids and stuff, and they will still get one-shot by NPCs, which you really don't want, now do you? So it's something to consider. So it's another choke point, right? So that's really the main ones. Ability mats, gear, training mats, ISO, gold, and red stars, of course. But let's talk a little bit more about gold. Gold is insidious. Gold is used everywhere. You cannot even unlock legendaries without gold. And they try to kind of fool us like we're getting our gold back, right? So usually, like on legendary events, you'll have... along with the shard unlocks, you'll have some gold. They'll give you like 250,000 gold. Well, guess what? You had to level like 6 characters or 5 characters you probably wouldn't normally be leveling just to unlock that legendary. And you spent way more of that in gold in leveling them up.
It sucks!
Creating another bottleneck. So gold is a really insidious one. You got to be careful. It's given to you in very regular chunks, but it goes so fast. And this was why I was a huge detractor of level 80. Why? Leave us at 75. Only thing that people were excited about it. I'm like, but why? All it does is add gold cost to make I just don't get it. Leave us at 75 and it just costs so much. It's like what, 500,000 gold per level? It's ridiculous, man. But anyway, enough lying about that. But gold, I would say, is the biggest bottleneck in this game. You can't do anything in this game without gold at the end of the game. You can't buy stuff out of the store for the most part. You can't level your characters even if you're flush on training mats. It's just a lot of things that restrict you with gold, and it's given to you pretty regularly. I think you can make around 800,000, million gold a day, whatever, if you do all your daily stuff, right? So it does give to you, but it's not nearly enough. Not for the cost it takes to level characters. Heck, it wasn't enough when it was level 75. Now at level 80, it's a big one. So just be cognizant of it. So yes, there are. If I was to have one complaint about this game, it's just way too many bottlenecks in this game. I mean, everyone knows this. It's blatant as the day is long, but there's just way too many bottlenecks in this game. A couple of them aren't quite so egregious, like ISO. I don't really have a problem with ISO. Surprising. And once again, I'm not high level, so I'm not constantly switching around different ISO classes. But I mean, I think they're pretty fair with how they distribute that. But all the other ones, you got to be careful with them. So, yeah, the state of the game, it's bad, but it always has been bad. If you were not a top guy, if you're not a top spender, it's always going to be rough on you. So please get that in your head. So I'm not going to turn this into a complete bash session on Scopely. They will do exactly what the market tells them they can do. And if they can keep gouging people and the same gougees keep paying, why would they change? So, yeah, I mean, you can't fault them for doing what makes them money, right? And for doing the minimum. Most of the bugs that pop around don't really affect me too much. It doesn't bother me. It's lame that it happens, but, you know, it is what it is. It is software. There's going to be bugs sometimes. They are very quick to fix the ones that benefit the player. I'm not going to lie there. They're not quite so fast to fix all the rampant other ones. So, yeah, state of the game is bad, but it's always going to be bad in this. But it would be so much better if they would just ease up on some of these bottlenecks. Get rid of training mats at least. Or, you know, cut the cost of leveling your characters. They even charge gold. Here's one they can do that wouldn't... It wouldn't cost them anything, for goodness sake. You know... I don't have a good example here. Let's see. If I have one here, I can... Rank up. Why does that cost you gold? Why does it cost you gold to equip gear? Those are two things that are huge. And then let's say, because I don't want to even put gear into these guys, but let's just, okay, I'm going to train her just for fun. Let's just get to 5. All right, I think I should be able to equip everything then. Now, we don't see it for the first level. You get that one for 0, right? There's the drug dealer push. So, all right, then it starts costing you. I don't, once again, if you light all these up, equip all, it costs you. But it costs you to equip every piece of gear. You know, why? Why does it do this? It's just greed. This one is pure greed, doing things like rank ups and gear equipping should not cost gold. I can even understand leveling, you know, training your characters up the next rank. Okay, I can see it costs gold, but really there should only be one bottleneck there, so make it either gold or training mats. I'm of the opinion of just get rid of the training mats completely. I don't see a purpose for them. It just creates more artificial scarcity. And, you know, some players are very good at getting gold and doing things that earn gold, or even just buying gold orbs. Don't make them buy 2 different things. And then they'll have a wider roster, they'll be happy, whatever the case may be. But, you know, there it is. But once again, there's no inclination for them to change it if people are still buying it. So, I mean, if you want to strike and not pay, that's on you. That's good on you. It'll make the difference, though, when the whales stop doing it. But until then, you know, we're stuck with it. It's just what's going to happen. They might throw us a bone every now and then, but yeah, just be used to it. That's all I'm saying. So go into this game with a sense of caution about you. Don't freaking take out a second mortgage of the house to pay for this game, for goodness sake. This game is not going to last forever, as much as many of us would like it to, you know. don't let this game stress you. And this game can stress you more than anything in trying to keep up with everything. That is another problem. I didn't really want to get into this. This is getting really long as it is. Too many characters coming out way too fast, right? But that's a video for another day. Go in. Don't stress out at this game. Don't like live and breathe this game. Don't freaking. I mean, unless you're a serious player. I mean, that's a different story. But I mean, just play. Don't let this game stress you out. Don't let this game turn into a job for you. And don't be like stressed out or depressed because you can't do everything, because in this game you just can't do everything. Scarcity is real, man. So anyway, that's my mild mannered rant is over on the state of the game. Maybe I'll do a more fleshed out one and some other of the more specific things later on. But yeah, so hopefully this was helpful to some people, and just be chill and easy, just like Bob Ross, right? So anyway, thanks again for watching. Until next time, this is Genome, just going to his Zen place. Out.